Treeline's vision has always been better, not cheaper. So that's been the focus of everything that we do. So we're not trying to compete with that $1,000 tent from Amazon that you're going to use 6 times and then have to throw away because it's complete trash. We're making products that you can rely on every single day in all conditions, and you're going to be happy with it. And if you're not, you can call me and I will help you out. That's what we stand behind.
Warning. The 4x4 Canada podcast contains discussion about exploring mountains, camping beside lakes, and enjoying the outdoors. Guests also talk about jumping race trucks side by side, racing 1,000 horsepower rigs across mud pits, and jumping monster trucks over stacks of buses. None of this is for the faint of heart. The 4x4 Canada podcast is not responsible for bringing out your inner adrenaline junkie or making you want to get out there and explore the back roads from coast to coast. The 4x4 Canada podcast is not responsible for broken parts due to jumping your vehicle, hitting mud poles too hard, crossing deep streams, and doing other dumb shit. However, we will take credit for inspiring you to explore mountaintops, spend quality time outdoors with your friends, or meeting new like-minded people, and most importantly of all, following your dreams.
I think the overland thing, whether you call it overlanding or whatever you want to call it, but I think that it can be such a broad thing because a lot of us are outdoor recreational enthusiasts. Like myself, my kayak is with me. Anytime I leave the driveway to go anywhere, my kayak's with me. My mountain bike's on the back. And so many people like that, whether they're mountain bikers, they've got a rooftop tent, or they're kayakers and they're going to the provincial park, they've got a rooftop tent, or it's just exploded over the last 5 years. And everybody's like, oh, overlanding this and overlanding that. But it's not just overlanding. It's regular people who's going out camping and they don't want to haul a larger trailer. I mean, or for example, you guys have got your trailers and you put a rooftop tent on that. It works great. Yeah. But this whole overlanding thing is just so exploded that there's people with Subarus and Yaris and stuff like that run rooftop tents, right? So it's not just for the 4x4 crowd anymore. It's it's become so common.
We've put tents this year on Golfs, Mini Coopers, a Toyota Prius, you name it, and we probably put a tent on it. Definitely.
Well, I think the tent thing is quite interesting because I had a rooftop tent years ago, and when I first pulled into a campsite, people were like, oh, what's that? What's this? And now when I pull into a campsite, if it's like a provincial campsite, there's 3 other people there with rooftop tents already, right? So it's definitely growing a lot more, and it's neat to see.
It has grown in leaps and bounds, but I'm still amazed how many people, when I set up camp somewhere, come by and they're like, what is it? I've never seen it. I've seen these things going down the highway, but I've never seen one set up. So we still have a good portion of the public that still doesn't know what a rooftop tent is and what it can do for them. So you think you're getting some penetration into spreading that news, and then it turns out that you have a long ways to go. And I thought we were starting to have some inroads years and years ago when I started. Treeline's been around we had our 10-year anniversary this year, so we're like 10 and a half years in. And back then, I can remember being 3-4 years in, thinking, oh, maybe we must be getting through to all the marketing we're doing and all the tents we're selling. People must be learning. And still to this day, I'll set up somewhere and somebody will drive by and go, wow, that is really cool. I've never seen one. So it just blows me away that we can be that far in to a product. And there's still so many people out there that have never seen it, never even knew it existed.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what we should do before we get too deep into this, Luke, because we're already starting to have a really good conversation already, but we should probably do a quick intro.
My name is Luke Von Maldegem. I'm national and international sales, and I've been with Treeline Outdoors now for going on 7 or 8 years, something like that. So I joined Treeline Outdoors a couple of years in, and the founder of Treeline Outdoors is a gentleman by the name of Chad Kendrick. Chad was a visionary. He's the guy that brought rooftop tents to Canada. So Treeline Outdoors is the first company to ever start making a rooftop tent and retailing it in the Canadian market. So we have a rich history of doing that. A vision of the development of the rooftop tent from where it started 10 years ago. Back then, those tents were square. They were boxy. They pooled water everywhere. They were really poorly made. They had crappy features and were really not very good quality for the most part. Now, there was some European manufacturers that had some much better product, but the stuff that was available in North America was pretty rudimentary. And I did see that original rooftop tent that the BC Four-Wheel Drive Association had dug out of, saved from the dump. And it was at the first Overland rally in BC. The BC Four-Wheel Drive Association brought it to Sasquatch Mountain, and that was made in the 70s, that rooftop tent.
I've actually helped Chris George locate that and find that. It's a funny story because Chris George, I don't know if you remember Chris or not, but he was in the hospital and they got us talking about it and they're like, oh yeah, we've got an old rooftop tent that we're getting rid of or whatever. And it turns out this thing's from like the 50s or 60s or whatever it is. And Chris, he texts me, he's like, we got to pick this up. We got to get this. This is a piece of history.
Absolutely. And I think you're right. I think it was out of the 50s because it had little pictures and it was like a Plymouth Woody with wood paneling. So that sounds like it's 50s era, right? Yeah. What a piece of history, right? The rooftop tent goes back 70, 80 years. Magellina, look at some of the old Magellina commercials back in the day when they put these rooftop tents on Fiats and parked by the lake, right? Absolutely hilarious. But so the idea was around for a long time. I think what Chad was able to do is incorporate new ideas and new designs. So when you look at our history of that product line in the first and second year, you could already see the changes of our rooftop tents with that round curvature, which always works better in the wind and it repels the rain and the water much better. Over the last 10 years, our soft shell tents have developed pretty steady over that 10-year period to the point where I would put that rooftop tent that we currently sell in the soft shell category up against any other competitor, and it will outperform anybody else in 4 seasons. And the other thing that we started doing is making those tents here in Calgary. So we have a whole line of tents called the Plus series of tents, and they're all made right here. So it's about as local as you're going to get. And we are the only company that makes a rooftop tent here in the Canadian market. So
I think that's incredible. I think that's awesome. Actually manufacturing in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. Treeline's vision has always been better, not cheaper. So that's been the focus of everything that we do. So we're not trying to compete with that $1,000 tent from Amazon that you're going to use 6 times and then have to throw away because it's complete trash. We're making products that you can rely on every single day in all conditions, and you're going to be happy with it. And if you're not, you can call me and I will help you out. That's what we stand behind. That's our focus, is better, not cheaper. When you're buying any product from us, it's going to be a good quality product. And I can attest to the rigidity and the durability of our products because we have people that are doing it for years on end. So the longest person to ever stay in a rooftop tent continuously in one of our adventure series tents is a landscape photographer out of Switzerland. His name is Elias Vetter. You can look him up on Instagram. He has incredible photography. So he bought a tent from us and then he lived in it for 3 consecutive years and traveled from Alaska throughout all of North America and down into Mexico and just took incredible photography, probably a lifetime's worth of imagery that he could now go back in and edit and put out over time. Yeah, incredible. And this guy lived in it for 3 years straight. So we know it can hold up. And then after that, he sold the truck, the tent, and back to Switzerland. And we have many other people that have owned our tents. For example, we put out a monthly story of every one of our stories is a story of one of our customers with one of our tents and the cool stuff that they're doing with this tent.
I was going to mention that actually. Folks, go to Treeline Outdoors, sign up for their newsletter. Even if you already have a rooftop tent, that monthly newsletter where they tell a story about people that use their tents and they're traveling all around the world. These monthly stories are so inspirational. They're so neat. And I have to give you kudos because so many newsletters that we get in our email inbox are, hey, buy this. Hey, this is for sale, or et cetera. And where your guys' has a story, and then there's the odd times, hey, we have a sale on, or hey, here's a new product kind of idea.
Exactly.
So you guys have pushed that focus around. I actually enjoy getting monthly newsletters from Treeline.
That's awesome to hear. We talk to a lot of our customers and they love getting those newsletters because it's something entertaining, right? There's imagery, sometimes there's video, but it's some cool story of where people have gone with our tents and what they're doing, right? For example, one of the last stories to go out, I think it was the two before this last one, was a guy named Wolfgang Meyerhofer. And I was at a trade show in Austria with our European distributor. And I ended up helping sell this tent to this gentleman who's a retired doctor and an avid photographer. And this guy ended up buying the tent. He put it on his truck, and then he ships his truck to all over the planet and then lives in it for 3 months and does his photography, brings his wife along. So he's been 3 months in Iceland. So you can imagine the horrific weather they get over there.
Yep.
Iceland. He's been, the last story was his last trip to Africa. He's shipping that truck back to Africa again for another 3 months trip here coming up. We're putting out product that can really hold up to this kind of rigorous use. Like our tents have a lot of redundancy systems in them, like all of the straps, all the tie downs. There's redundancy. So we put double D rings on the straps. If you have a Velcro failure, you have another way to cinch it down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We've certainly done our due diligence on the base materials. So we use aluminum honeycomb on all of them. All our interior poles are like twice as thick as all of the competition. And that again helps for snow load, high winds, all the rest of it. And then our Canadian made tents are an even tighter cut, and the fly has a different design. And it is one of the quietest tents on the market today when it comes to windy conditions. We've taken that to a whole new level as well. So lots of cool features. For example, Treeline invented the shoe bag, and now everybody on the planet has copied it, you know. And we've also really pushed everybody else to get better along the way because we've pushed the whole design and the features and all of that stuff. If it's a flattery of being copied, we've certainly been flattered a lot.
I do have to mention to the listeners that I do have a Treeline tent. I've got a Joshua, which is, for lack of better terms, the smaller and less expensive version that you do have. So I do have the Joshua. I absolutely love it. I've had it for a little bit less than a year. Quality, top notch. I've had no problems with it. It came with a orange cover, which I was iffy about, but I was like, after a while, I actually ended up loving it. So the quality's been good. I've got some friends with other size tents, whether it be a Tamarack or a Ponderosa, which is a 3 to 4 person. Myself, I wish at the time that I could have afforded to go to a Tamarack, which is the other 2 to 3 person, because I think it's a bit better in the winter, right? It's a little thicker.
Yeah. So in terms of tent body material, you jump from a 180 gram to a 380 gram. So at 380 grams per square meter, so if you cut out a square meter of that material, that's what it would weigh in. So that's the material weight. So it is a much more robust material. It's better in the wind. There's less wind noise. It just wears incredibly well, to the point where I have now seen tents with that 380 gram tent body come back after 8 or 9 years of use, thousands of nights in there, and it's still doing it. So I can attest this tent will last and last and last. So
yeah, I think the Joshua, like your other one, that's the 180, and the one I've got, it's going to last as well too. But just look at the quality of the fit and the finish, everything, like you say, the double D-rings, all that stuff. It's good there, but I think I just didn't quite have the extra cash at the time to go up into a Tamarack. But I think for the average user, especially the Joshua is a great one, but I could definitely recommend going to some of the other ones that have the thicker material, especially if you want to do off-season stuff.
Yeah. And your tent is what we consider a non-extended tent. It doesn't have that extension over the ladder. If you're adding an annex room, your annex on a Joshua would be behind the ladder, and an extended tent will include the ladder inside that whole set.
That is one really neat thing about the Tamarack. I've got a couple of friends with it, and mine on the outside, I don't really mind it as much, especially the way I've got mine set up. I've got it set up so it's cap height, so I can still haul my kayaks above it.
Yeah.
And going up into the bottom of it would be a little tougher on that. But I've got other friends that are running, the Tamarack or the Ponderosa.
Yeah. So in your case, Wes, I think you've got the right tent.
Yeah.
If you're mounting it at that lower height, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So you do have 4 or 5 different versions, plus your made in Canada one, your Plus series tents. Let's talk about your Plus series. Am I calling that right? Is that the right way to word it?
Yep. That's the Plus series, correct.
Made in Canada. That is the totally awesome part that I love. But you've got a lot of neat features in there that have resulted from your guys' years of experience in the industry. So say, for example, the material of the tent itself, and is it coming with your new cover as well automatically, or is that still an option?
So the Plus tents are made of a nylon material. So we've changed it up. We went from a polycotton ripstop to a nylon material. And it's very interesting. This nylon material that we found actually passed all of the fire ratings. So it's a very unique material in that sense. It is something that is much lighter, but has a very high tear strength. So it's actually a really tough material that we found. So we were able to shave on average 20 pounds off of the weight of a tent with the Plus series. So again, weight savings, if you've got considerations on dynamic weight ratings for crossbars, for example, a lot of times we can go to a bigger tent with the Plus series as opposed to our traditional adventure series tents, for example. So that's cool. And all those covers come with our new soft cover, which is made out of a boat top material, and it basically gets thrown over and tucked around, Velcro, draw cords, and off you go. So it's definitely quicker on and off. And that's been one thing that a lot of our customers have said, can you make this better? Can you make the travel covers a little bit easier on off? And that's what we've done with the Plus series. And that travel cover is available for any of our tents. So anybody can upgrade. We've got upgraded 3-inch cold comfort mattresses. So they have 1.5 inches of closed cell foam on the bottom, and then a very unique memory foam topper. So the 1.5 inches on top is memory foam, but it is not your average Walmart memory foam that freezes solid when it gets cold. It is absolutely the worst thing in the winter, period. So we had to source this memory foam that will work in any rooftop tent, really. If you want to upgrade your mattress in any rooftop tent, any of our mattresses, the 1.4, 1.8, 2.2, they will fit most, if not all, soft shell rooftop tents. So that's an upgrade, and it is absolutely dreamy. I've got customers that have phoned me after I told them how good it was, and then they say, this is better than my bed at home. I prefer to sleep in my tent now. So it is an awesome mattress. And that mattress we made here in Calgary in conjunction with a mattress company. And we sew those mattress covers, and the whole package is made here in Canada. So another great Canadian product.
That is great, because mattresses are something that rooftop tents have got a bad rap for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the worst offender, if I can call them out, is the original iCamper, because the mattress was maybe a 1/4 inch thick when their first tent that came out. It was horrific. I don't think anybody could sleep in that thing. And then obviously it got better over time, but that was the worst mattress I've ever seen in any rooftop tent. So
I do have to say that the one on my Joshua, I've been happy with it. I have had worse, a lot worse. I've had a couple different rooftop tents over the years, and I've had a lot worse, but really interested in this new mattress that you guys have. Because like I say, it'll fit into, what I have, or another rooftop tent would be another manufacturer. So.
Exactly. So yeah, we can make everybody comfortable.
Yeah.
And it is an unbelievable mattress. So anybody that's thinking of upgrading, that's a great upgrade. And on sale right now at Treeline Outdoors.
Yes, that's the other thing. We have a sale going on right now. When is that sale over? Is it Christmas Day it's over, or?
It's end of the month. So we're going to wait till New Year's and give everybody an opportunity to get some Christmas gifts in their stockings. Our famous Treeline Skookum Chuck socks are on sale, 50% off. Like, these are lamb's wool socks. I absolutely, one of the most comfortable socks you'll ever put on your feet. They're made in Portugal, and the lambs that are shorn to make these socks are fed nothing but port wine and olives. And apparently that's what makes these socks so soft.
I would be pretty soft too.
Yeah. Jeez, no.
That is awesome. But yes, you guys have got a sale on everything on this site.
Right. Exactly. So right now we're trying to give back to, our Treeline people, and we have such an incredible customer base of amazing people that we've had the honor to get to know and to help out and set them up with whatever it is they need to go and recreate, and however they want to recreate and pursue their passions. So it's fantastic. And we also give back every year to all of our tent owners. We throw an invite to a Treeline family camp out, and we take everybody camping once a year. So what that entails is we pick a location, we disseminate all that information. Everybody that has the Treeline rooftop tent's invited. We do an amazing gourmet breakfast, both the Saturday and the Sunday morning. We do it over a weekend. And then there's some cool activities, maybe a trail run, all kinds of different things. And every time it's at a different location. This year we were in the Badlands here in Alberta. We were at the location of the Red Bull Outliers hard enduro motorcycle race. It was incredible. We camped right along the Red Deer River. We had a lineup of tents that was lined up along the river, probably 400 yards long, of all Treeline tents, all camped together. It was the coolest thing. And then we had one central area and lots of giveaways and beer sponsors. And then we got to take in that incredible race on the Sunday, which attracted the global elite of hard enduro motorcycle riders. Lots of four-wheel drive enthusiasts were absolutely blown away to see what these guys can do on a bike. There was stuff that you couldn't walk up or down, and these guys were riding with their seat on their pegs, and it was it's next level. You can't understand how they can defeat gravity. I equate it to those guys in Iceland that do those hill climbs. That's very the four-wheel drive buggies that they race up those near vertical slopes, right? Very close to that. So what an incredible opportunity for us to be a part of an event like that. This is the only North American stop on that hard enduro race circuit. And it is the world's top enduro riders at this event. And first place was Manny Lettenbichler from Germany. Second place was Billy Bolt from England. And third place was our Canadian hometown favorite out of Invermere, Tristan Hart. So what an amazing event. And the stuff you witness at these races, it's hard to imagine, right? Because you've got a novice class that there's plastic everywhere. There is bikes coming down the hill, up and down and sideways and flipping. And
it's got to make you wonder how they can ride it with such big balls.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. These guys at the highest, the pro class, I cannot, unless you've gone and you've seen what these guys can do, you can't explain that to anyone. It is so next level. The stuff they can ride, it's literally vertical. A lot of the stuff is vertical, and it's all momentum to get them past the vertical sections. And then they're on a ledge, got to back up and hit the next vertical and gap rocks, and unbelievable. So this race this year was one of the best races in the whole circuit. And last year, for example, I was at last year's race just to evaluate the venue. There was 3 people that finished the race last year. And this was a single lap was taking these guys last year about 90 minutes. This year, for these guys, the pros to do a lap was over an hour and a half, and 12 riders finished this year. It was unbelievable. So like neck and neck races. Oh, it was such a nail biter. It's such incredible riding, such incredible talent. And you've got from the 12 people that finished, you've got the youngest rider was 17. And this kid is from the Czech Republic. He's going to be the guy to watch in the future. And then obviously Manny Lettenbichler, Tristan Hart, Billy Bolt, Roman, all these world's top riders. These guys are in the top 10 at every single hard enduro race on the planet. And I was really sad that Paul Torres didn't make it on his Tenere 700, because he is like the only guy that will ride that course on a 700cc 4-stroke Yamaha Tenere, and everybody else is riding a 300.
That's a big bike.
Is next level on it. They shave the weight off this bike, but it's probably a 600-pound bike versus a 200-something pound bike.
Yeah.
But he's also 6'5" and so incredibly strong. He can throw this bike around, and he's a trials guy, and he does the trials on a Tenere. Unbelievable. Look him up. He's amazing.
Skills.
Yeah. So that was a great venue. And that was something that we brought our Treeline people to. It was such a great weekend. We were swimming in the river. We were going to watch these races. We did some tours through the Badlands. There's dino bones everywhere. It was such a cool venue. And it's on private land, which is a way that you can do an event like that, because obviously right next door is Dinosaur Provincial Park, and you're not going to get permission to do this event over there. So what a treat. So I don't know how we're going to beat that next year, but we might look at maybe coming to BC and finding a cool pin drop somewhere and just bringing everybody there.
But part of the problem is trying to find somewhere where you can put everybody.
Yeah.
That's going to be the hard part, but sounds like it's one heck of an event. I did see the notifications come out, and I had other stuff going on that weekend, but I did see pictures after, and it looked like a great time.
Yeah, sure. That's one of the things that we really appreciate our customers. And I hope that's getting through in our marketing and in our efforts in what we're trying to do. And our
from what I've seen on your marketing, it's more about building relationships. So whether it's the stories that come out in the newsletters, or you're sharing photos on Instagram, whatever, of users that are, sending in the photos and that, but it seems to be a lot of relationship building on your marketing side, which I don't think it's all marketing. I think it's true relationship building.
We love our people. It's that easy, right? And truly, I absolutely love seeing our customers, and I run into them all over the place, or I'll get texts or emails. Hey, I found another Treeline guy. I'm up here and talking. I found another Treeliner, and now we're traveling together for the next 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just so cool to see this whole Treeline community come together. And at all of our campouts, everybody's making new friends. Everybody's setting up new travel dates and where we go next weekend, who's in, who wants. So we're creating that community and those connections through our campouts. And ideally, I'd love to have one every month, but that's just not realistic at this point. Maybe in the future, that would be a great thing to do, is to throw out a Treeline campout in multiple locations once a month throughout the summer, for example.
Yeah.
So that would be awesome.
Well, even like we we're talking earlier off air about, there's so many beautiful areas in BC and Alberta and East, and you can find beauty as long as you have your eyes open. You can find beauty in southern Saskatchewan, or like you mentioned earlier, that southern Alberta is a great, spot that you've really discovered lately. And maybe up into Edmonton or something like that. But there's just so many beautiful areas in Canada that it's incredible.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
Very lucky with that.
A little time and so much to explore.
Yeah. That's the problem. Unfortunately, we got to work, right?
Yeah. So Wes, let me tell you about this incredible heater, and you alluded to it earlier.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what inspired this. Obviously, in my opinion, a good diesel heater is the biggest game changer to shoulder season and winter camping, period. There's no other piece of kit that has changed my love for camping when it's cold, other than that diesel heater. So what we ended up doing is we ended up buying a cheap Chinese heater off of Amazon. We bought Planar's version of the diesel heater in the Nanook case. We bought some buddy heaters, and then we used them. We tried them in all applications. We hauled them around in different various ways, and we destroyed all of them. So let me tell you what the weaknesses were on all of them. So let's get rid of the buddy heater first and foremost. It certainly puts carbon dioxide into your tent. It has a high likelihood of starting a fire in your tent if you're kicking anything on it. Probably, and I've seen photography of people's tents completely burnt down from a buddy heater. It puts a ton of moisture in your tent. So the one we tested, I think it made it down to about -15. And at -15, those regulators freeze up and they stop working altogether. But up until that point, when we were trying to get it going at cold temperatures, it ended up just making icicles inside the tent. And then when you pack it up, all those icicles and all that frost and all that moisture ends up in your bedding, and it's horrible. It's just not a good heating solution, I would argue, for anything. So we got rid of that whole idea. Then all of the diesel heater that are available on the market today are very tall and narrow and skinny. Yeah. So if you're hauling them and you just put one in the back of any pickup truck, any vehicle, and make a corner, it will tip over and then it will spill diesel fuel. Whether it's the planar in the plastic case, whether it's the Chinese or any version like it, they're all tippy. And it's okay if it's in the back of the pickup truck, we were able to wash that out, no problem. But if it's in a brand new 4Runner, that's the gift that going to keep on giving for the life of the vehicle, and you will not get that smell out. So obviously, looking at a design of a diesel heater that is square, boxy, and stable was one of the important pieces of the puzzle. So that's why our diesel heater is square and boxy. It has 4 rubber feet on it, so it doesn't sit directly on the ground. It is very stable. I have driven trying to flip this thing over in the back of the truck, unable to do it, even not tied down, unless I hit a curb or something. That thing is solid. So we'll go to the fuel fill problem next, because the Chinese V-Var or Happy Buy, we all know if you're filling up with diesel, it tends to foam. And if you're spilling fuel, it drips down and into that entire unit. And again, it will stink like diesel forever. So our diesel heaters are designed with an external fill. It is completely sealed. You can overfill it by a couple liters and it's going to spill up and over, and you can wipe that up, and it's not going to end up in the diesel heater itself, causing that diesel smell forever. So that was another criteria. We had to have an external fill completely sealed from all the contents inside the case. Then the other problem that all of the other ones had is your hose, your electronics, like all of those components. Every other heater, you're carrying that hose extra. Now, if you lose, forget, whatever, the hose, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good to get heat up in the tent when you're 6 feet from it. That was another thing. There was nothing on the market where you had a case, everything packs up inside of it. In our case, your electronic cables, your power cables, your controller, your heat coupler, the exhaust comes off the outside of the box. When everything is off the box, it is a clean box that you can put into that 4Runner. It takes up a minimal amount of space. You can sit on it. You can stand on it. You can toss it around. It is completely durable. Some of the other heaters, we ended up breaking some bits off the outside. So again, had to be a super strong case. And those heaters have been phenomenal. Everybody that has bought one has been sending emails. Even today, I got another email from a customer saying, man, what a solidly built little piece of kit that is. So currently we're using a planar components on the inside of the case. So it is from Planar Autotherm out of Vancouver. So we're working with those guys, and all of the components are from them. And then we build the case here, and that case is assembled here in Calgary. So it is, again, very local. The case is made here. It is a beautiful case, gunmetal gray with black emblems on the side. And then everything comes off, stores inside. Just incredible.
That's one of the really neat things I like about it is that it does all store compact, right? That's
exactly. It's a completely self-contained case with everything you need. It's got enough cable for it to sit on the back of a pickup truck, go right to the front to a back. It has enough of an extension cord on the controller that goes in the tent, so you can set that heater pretty much anywhere and either direct it directly into your annex or directly upstairs. When it's cold, I put it upstairs at minus 15 in 3 minutes. It's 20 degrees in there, and I've got windows open and everybody's happy, right? At the same time, you can also direct that heat into the annex. It's obviously going to have more heat loss in an annex with the door open upstairs. So I think last time we were out, it was maybe minus 5, minus 10, and it was 16 degrees in the annex and upstairs. And that's not even on full blast on this heater. So we have the option to put either a 4 kilowatt or a 2 kilowatt in the box. Same size box, different size heater. Difference is 7,000 BTUs max on a 2 kilowatt versus 14,000 on the 4 kilowatt. But then you also go into twice the fuel consumption. So a 2 kilowatt will run 70 hours, because it uses 0.1 of a liter per hour. It's a 7-liter tank. So that's 70 hours on low, and it's 28 hours on the highest setting. And of course, on a 4 kilowatt, you've got double that for fuel consumption. Yeah. So really, if I'm going direct to the tent, like a Joshua like yours, you'd have it on the lowest setting. It'd be minus 15 outside, and you're running that thing for 70 hours. And it draws at a maximum 2.4 amps. So that's like charging a cell phone. Like it's very on energy, and it's very good on fuel, and you can burn kerosene or winter diesel in it. I like the winter diesel because it's got a pretty low gel point, even though kerosene would be just as good, if not better. But diesel is what I got because I have a diesel truck. It plays well together. But yeah, it's an awesome product. Again, we're making better, not cheaper. And this is the best diesel heater on the market. So buy once, cry once. Comes with warranty. The components are tried and tested. And I've been running one now for 6 years, and it's incredible. I use it in my side-by-side, so it can go in the back of the side-by-side and heat the cab. And again, if you're parked, if you're somebody that isn't running the engine all the time and you don't want to run off a coolant heater, which I also have, but it doesn't work when you're parked. So that's where the diesel heater comes in handy. And out here, I've got a side-by-side with a soft enclosure, and I plow snow with it at minus 20 or minus 30. And that heater's going in the back, and I'm in my t-shirt having a great time. It's incredible. So I use it for that. I use it in an enclosed trailer as well. So my side-by-side and snowmobile trailer, it sits inside, and I just run the exhaust through a floor port. And that's basically my portable furnace. I put it in, hook it up to a 12-volt power source, and off it goes, and it's heating the enclosed trailer.
It's a neat package. Like this way it's all packaged together. Even simple things from what I noticed, like handles on the side, so you can lift it easily. What does it weigh? It
weighs 48 pounds.
Okay. So it's got a bit of weight to it, but a
little bit of weight
on the side, so it's not bad.
Yeah, most anybody can pick that up and throw it in a vehicle, but it is definitely the nicest package of mobile heat or portable heat that you can get today.
And one of the other things too is it comes with an 8-foot hose, right?
Yeah.
So you buy some of these other cheaper Chinese versions, and they come with a 2-foot section for the hose, or a 3-foot, which does nothing for you, right? You've got to go out buy a hose for it.
Yeah.
So all those little things and also a lot of your Chinese ones only come with say a foot of wire or 2 feet of wire or something like that. Yeah. And you've got to put the ends on it, whether you connect it to your battery or what is your ends? Do you have ends on your wiring, or is that up to the person? So, because there's so many people have different versions of what they want to do, right?
Yes. So the planar units come with a really long cable. Again, when I'm out with my F350 and it's a short box, it sits on my tailgate and I can run the cables and wrap it around the front mirror and go to my battery. So it's got a ton of cable and it's got eyelets on the end of the cables. Okay. So they're red and black. And planar suggests to mount it to a solid mount and not to convert it to a cigarette plug power source. And for the simple reason being that if you accidentally unplug that, and a cigarette plug would be easy to pull out, somebody around the campsite trips over or pulls on the wire and it's disconnected. And those heaters are designed, and when they're running on full bore on the highest settings, they get really hot. And when you shut them off, they go through a cool down procedure, and that then shuts off when it gets to a safe temperature. So if you unplug it and it's at super hot temperature, there's a chance to do some damage to the unit, which is why they're saying it should be attached, made a solid connection to it. So that's what the manufacturer recommends.
That makes sense.
Now, you could certainly design some quick connections from a battery, right? You can use an Anderson style plug or whatever and build that into however you want to set up your overland vehicle or whatever system you're going to go with. So there's a few different ways to make it very easy.
Yeah, I know some vehicles don't like the hood being open. I know I've got a few friends that have put some quick disconnects, say some Anderson connectors or whatever, under the hood, and then the wiring just comes up the back of the hood and go from that route, because there's a lot of vehicles that don't like to have the hood open. I had a problem with that with my solar this summer. I had my solar hooked up for my fridge and that, and I kept on draining the battery and couldn't figure out why. And then did it one time without the hood open. And apparently when you have the hood open on the Tacoma, there is a draw from it saying that the hood is open. Yes. Learned that one the hard way.
Foiled by technology again.
I know, right? I was thinking I had a nice little solar panel. I thought I was doing good, but obviously there was more power coming through the fridge and the hood open signal.
You Tacoma guys are always putting extra batteries in those rigs anyways, probably behind your back seat. That's where most of them end up.
Yeah.
So be a great place just to add a wing nut and add the eyelets and off you go.
Exactly. Yep. So sticking with the heat concept we got going right now, your flat pack firebox. Let's talk about that. One of the nice things I like about it, okay, it's multiple pieces, folds up flat, you're good to go. But when it's assembled, everything's up off the ground. So you're not actually having to worry about burning grass or burning dirt or other stuff like that. The fire itself is up off the ground.
Yeah. So what's essential to a good functioning flat pack fire pit is a flat bottom. So most of the other ones that are out there are very triangular like this. And you get a fire going and coals going, you really only have a very short strip on your grill top in order to cook on, right? Because those embers just fall down in the very bottom. And it's great if you're doing a line of shrimp, but if you're doing steaks, you've cooked the middle and the outside's raw, right?
A lot of that, yeah.
So I've played with those flat packs for a long time in many different designs. So I knew that the one that we were going to come out with was going to have that flat bottom section. And it allows the coals to spread out and it gives you a much better heat distribution on the actual grill itself. So this fire pit is awesome to cook steaks or anything on. And so it's a mild steel component. So the bottom, the two sides and the end pieces are mild steel. So they will patina over time. And then the grill top is made out of stainless steel. And then the whole thing we sandblast, and it comes looking absolutely beautiful. But just know when you get it, it will patina. And then my favorite part of the whole thing, obviously, I love to eat, so cooking on it's awesome. But the best feature of all is the fact that you can stick your feet under it and it warms the top of your feet and doesn't burn the soles off your running shoes like it would at any other campsite with a rock rig.
Never thought of that.
Yeah, so that's really the coolest part of that flat pack fire pit. And then in the morning, you've got a little bit of ash, you take it apart and there's virtually no trace whatsoever. Not having to hunt for rocks. You're not having to clean anything up. It's really no trace camping. And the whole thing goes into a nice little carry bag and slips nice and flat and conveniently in the back of your vehicle. Yeah, it's a great thing.
And it comes with the rack for the cooking?
Yep. Comes with the grill top, stainless grill top, and it comes with a nice little travel bag. And again, the whole thing is made right here in Calgary. So you're seeing
those are on sale until the end of the month.
Yes, they are. So you're seeing it here from Treeline. We're definitely very much focused on making more and more great products right here in Canada. Our adventure trailers are all made here in Canada. They're also made locally. So we can, like the Sherpa trailer, which is up on the website, is our smallest 10-foot trailer. It's at a very good price for a very capable off-road trailer. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I think in the future, we will be speccing Cruisemaster gear under pretty much all of our trailers. Right now, we have a mix of Timber and Cruisemaster.
Mm-hmm.
And our Journey trailer, for example, right now has Cruisemaster under it, Cruisemaster Max couplers. But we really love the Cruisemaster stuff because it is such a premium suspension and it's Australian made. The Aussies really know what they're doing with off-road trailer suspension that, we're just in love with the everything from Cruisemaster. From that Max coupler alone, the components, like the stainless steel components, the pin, the way it hooks up, it is so far superior to any other Max coupler that I've seen and played with. It's unbelievable. And it's such a great anti-theft device because unless you have the pin, nobody is going to take that trailer, right? But even if you were to order one from Cruisemaster out of Australia, that would be a few weeks to get to you. And by that time, I'm pretty sure that trailer not in the same spots. Yeah, it's an incredible trailer. And we have certainly put these trailers through the paces. We've taken them up some hairpin quad trails, and this thing, it's incredible where it will follow. And so the next part of Treeline's trailer development is a sleep-in trailer that will launch at the end of next month at the Calgary RV show. So look for that. It's going to be a sleep-in trailer. It is very unique in its design. And that'll be something for you to watch, Wes, because it's a super cool trailer that's going to have some great features. And it'll have, again, that Treeline touch of better, not cheaper. And it will, I can tell you, I think, in my opinion, it's one of the nicest looking adventure trailers with a sleep-in component, front kitchen, so on and so forth. So
front kitchen.
Yeah, it'll have a front box with a kitchen slide for electric fridge and freezer. It'll have a power box as well as a built-in diesel heater. And so it'll have heat, it'll have water,
Looking forward to that.
Fridge, it'll have that whole kitchen slide. And we'll see, there's a few other things that are in development. So that's going to launch at the Calgary RV show at the end of January. And for anybody that's interested in going, I still have a few tickets left to give away. So maybe if any of your listeners are interested in adventure trailers, just reach out to me at Treeline. I'll hook you up with some passes. So that'll be a cool unveiling at that show.
That's going to be really neat. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Your other trailers, they've got the options of the slide out kitchens and that as well too, right? And you can start off with your base trailer and put your other things in. Are they almost modular in regards to the boxes and stuff like that? Or
no, they're different. The Sherpa box is completely different from the Journey box, and it won't have any of the same Some of the slide mechanisms and slides would be the same, like the kitchen slides would be a similar dimension, and we can manufacture multiple sets that go into a few different trailers. So there will be some components that can go between trailers.
Right. But
yeah,
yeah. But there's definitely lots of options in regards to like the rear pull out and stuff like that. You've got, but between both trailers, between the Sherpa and the other one, the Sherpa is the smaller of the two, correct?
Correct. So the Sherpa is a 10-foot tip to tail. It is a galvanized steel frame. So we galvanize it. And what we started doing now is painting the front tongue just for an aesthetic reason. So we'll powder coat over that galvanized, and then all our suspension gear underneath, and then aluminum from there up. So all the boxes are aluminum, and then we build them to whatever the customer wants in terms of features. There's a wheel and tire upgrade. There's the rear slide on the Sherpa. Every Sherpa comes with a 34-gallon water tank that's gravity, and it has a gravity port at the back of the trailer. So that's already built in. And then you've got an optional stabilizer, rear C-jacks as an option, and an extra tire carrier and things of that nature. Yeah, it's been a great little trailer for us, and a lot of people absolutely love it because it's really small, it's simple, it fits into pretty much any garage with a rooftop tent on it, has a height adjust roof rack, and for $59.99, that little trailer will follow your Tacoma anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, I won't even notice it's there.
The nice thing is you can put all your gear in it, on it, your tent on it, and really it's ready to go. And at the drop of a hat, you just back up, hook on, and off you go. And the only thing you got to put in is your food and your beer, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then you're not having to haul everything around in your daily driver, if that is your daily driver.
And that is one of the downfalls of a rooftop tent. If you do want to go out wheeling, say you stay overnight and you want to go wheeling out the next day, you've got to pack everything up if you've got a rooftop tent. Whereas if you've got a trailer with a rooftop tent or live in, as your new one is, you can just drop it and go. So
drop it, go to the store, go fishing, whatever you want to do. There are some real advantages to setting up an adventure trailer for everything that you want in it. Definitely. Yeah.
And then your other one, how big is it?
So the Sherpa is a 10-foot.
Yeah.
The Journey, and I have one demo Journey left available right now, and it is on sale at 15% off. So if anybody wants to see it, again, reach out to me. It is a full load. It has the whole side kitchen management. It has an incredible array of stuff, including water. The only thing that it doesn't have is a 12-volt system, and we generally don't build those into all the trailers because every customer's needs are different.
Yeah.
Some people, the last customer that drove off with a Journey trailer at the beginning of December had an EcoFlow that fit into the front box perfectly, and that's how he's powering his new fridge and freezer and lights and everything else. So it really depends on what people want for power, be it portable, be it built in, be it lithium, be it lead acid, whatever. We can design a package for anyone.
Yeah, everybody's got different ideas on what they want to do. Power iPhone is something that it's tough to plan out ahead of time to put on something like a trailer because everybody's got their own opinions on it and how they want to do it, etc.
We generally design that based on customer needs. Yeah.
Do you guys normally stock the Sherpas net, or is everything built to customers' orders?
So when we build trailers, we usually do an entire run of frames. We do an entire run of boxes and things that go into the trailer. So it can go together pretty fast. So it just depends where your order is in the production cycle. So obviously we encourage everybody to plan ahead, and human nature, right? Our busiest days are the days leading up to the May long weekend.
The Friday and the long weekend is when everybody calls looking for
May long, I need a rooftop tent and I'm looking at this trailer. When can I pick it up tomorrow? So that definitely to educate our customers to plan ahead, to plan these builds with no matter what it is that you want is very helpful. So
definitely. So let's flip back to the rooftop tents for 1 second.
Okay.
What the hell am I doing wrong with my ladder? I always seem to struggle with my ladder.
Okay, let me guess. You have a 2 push button,
Yep.
and then everything else collapses, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so that ladder is fantastic because it only takes 2 buttons to collapse the whole thing. So on your pack up, when you're collapsing the ladder on top of the tent, that is exactly. In order to set the ladder up properly, you want to do one of 2 things. Either extend it all the way so all of your locking mechanisms lock, and then go to the top rung, depress the 2 buttons underneath, run the rung up. Next rung, run it up. Next rung, until you set your height, and you've got either a half rung or a full rung adjustment, right? And that's how you set it up. Or you hold the entire ladder up and you pull up the bottom rung, the next rung until you get to the right height. So those are the 2.
Those are 2 ways. I play around. I've played around with it a bit, and it seems sometimes when I do it, I've got, I'm in between rungs because I'll put all the rungs to the top.
Do that because each rung is trying to collapse the one in front of it, right?
Yeah.
So you have to collect all of your extra rungs at the very top of that ladder.
Yeah. I think I just need to get used to doing it more. And sometimes it works out great, and then sometimes I'm cursing kind of idea, right? But it's I think overall it's a really good design, especially upon folding when it's up on top, or you fold it up and you compact it, works absolutely wonderful. But there's some times where I've been struggling a bit with getting it to go even. But I think that's just me needing to do it more often. That just means I have to go camping more often.
Yeah. So just remember to collect your rungs at the top of the ladder. And that's all. Remember, whether you're pulling them out one at a time or whether you're extending it and then collecting them and shortening the ladder at the top every time, collecting those rungs at the top and then testing it when you get in to make sure they're all locked out. And then that's how you set it up.
I think maybe next time I'll try doing it, bringing out the bottom one at a time kind of idea.
Yeah.
Try it that way and go from there.
And
I know I'm not the only one, because I know everybody with tents has not issues with the ladders, but it's funny when I talk to people about it that have different other manufacturers, they're like, oh yes, that ladder. Idea. So you guys are not the only one where some people struggle with it. I still think it's a great product, but
and there's a few different versions of those ladders out there. So some of them have locking mechanisms on the face of the rungs, on all of them. So now you have to click every single one of those in order to collapse it. So that was a gripe before. So that's why we went to the single push button to collapse the whole ladder, because it's a little easier on the pack up. But I understand you have to really think that through, because one rung touches the other one and it unlocks, and now the whole ladder collapses on top of itself.
Yeah. That's why you set the tent up before you start drinking.
Yeah. Yes. Always a good idea. Definitely.
I have learned that. I am really looking forward to seeing your guys' cover. We talked about it before briefly, but the no zipper cover, I think is a really interesting idea. I love my zipper. Originally, the very first rooftop tent I had snaps on it. It was an offshore one, and it actually I had to pull the cover down and snap into the thing. And it was horrible. It absolutely sucked. I hated it. And yours with the zipper works really well. Because mine is cab height, I've actually got a hot dog stick to go on the front, because I can't reach in the front because the cab truck's there. So I've got a hot dog stick and I push that with the zipper.
That's a great idea. When we build and install tents at Treeline, we put a long lanyard on that zipper slider.
Yep. For
everybody, just for that reason. So you can get it across that home stretch when you're.
Yeah, exactly. And there is a lanyard on it. The thing is like 4 inches or something that long. So I can grab this with a extendable hot dog stick and then just push it across.
Well,
that's good.
Don't fix it if it ain't broke.
Exactly. Well, like I say, I do love my Treeline tent. I've got a number of friends that love their Treeline tents as well. I think you guys are doing a great job with the tents, and they seem to be improving. as well. So
absolutely. There is a hard shell tent in development. There's actually two. I can't tell you exactly when that will launch, but it will again put Treeline at the very top of the hard shell world. It's really interesting.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, so it's definitely something that's missing in our lineup, and it's coming, and it is going to be revolutionary. So that is all I can say right now. And I think we'll have to have another one of these get-togethers to talk about when it launches. Yeah. It is going to turn the whole world upside down again. And
we might have to end up doing a in-person interview. I might have to head over to Calgary and see you guys.
West, or I'm thinking we might be at the BC Overland Rally this year, which is going to be in Kelowna for the first time. So maybe we can catch up there and see.
Yeah,
definitely. If we can do an interview then, because I love Ray Highland. He's one of the coolest people I know. Mm-hmm. He's just such a great guy. I can't say enough good about him and Marianne and what they're doing. But in terms of the overland rallies, and this is, I've voiced my opinion many times that it's great for everybody to go camp in the middle of nowhere. But if you're not pulling in new people into our world, in my opinion, you're missing the point, because we need more people to understand and get intrigued and get introduced to our world. It's no good if everybody that already had a rooftop tent and all the accessories comes and hangs out for 2 days in Merritt, but it's
in the sandstorm,
but it's just not, I don't think it's useful for the vendors when you're not bringing in a customer base that you need to make these shows worth your while. And I've voiced that in with Ray for a very long time. And that ended up drawing that overland rally from Sasquatch up to Whistler. And I think that what we had in Whistler was our best show. I think it was a great venue. You're right in the middle of all of these outdoor oriented people, and you got to put the marketing dollars into getting those people to a show like that and getting new people out and getting them introduced to what we have to offer as a group. Right. Yeah. So
I think that they've done a great job. And I think that the Alberta Outdoor Adventure Expo is another great venue. And I think one of the things that they've got over the BC Overland Rally is, and even Overland North has over the BC Overland Rally, is price wise. Yeah. I know these events take a lot of money to put on, with insurance costs, and I get that. But where the Alberta Outdoor Adventure Show and Overland North, they're doing these day passes that are reasonably inexpensive. People can afford, right? Whereas you're not paying $90 for a day pass kind of idea. And I think that would help bring people in.
I think you're right. I think whatever would make it easier for people that aren't living and breathing this stuff every day to come in and to consider some of these great products from all of the people that go to these overland rallies have to offer to get them out of the cities and away from other people and enjoying and pursuing their passions, right? Yeah. So whether it's cheaper price tickets to get in, more marketing to get people there, whatever the solution is there, needs to be considered and thought about to get more people to those rallies in order for vendors to say, you know what, that was a worthwhile show for us to do. We had some great conversations. There's going to be some sales that come out of this show, and it's worthwhile for us to go to the next one. So there's got to be a bit of a metric there that makes sense for people that go to the vendors that go to the show, right? Yeah. You need to have that draw to make it worthwhile. And I guess that's why Treeline hasn't been at the BC Overland shows, because there's just not that component, that growth component of newbies coming to get introduced to this.
It's a huge investment, right? So a lot of people don't realize how much vendors have to pay to go into these events. Yeah. And it's almost, I know another company that has moved into going to mountain bike events or stuff like that, and focusing on some of those because it's new people to the overlanding crowd.
Yeah.
An idea, right?
I really believe that the best overland shows we can have are in major urban centers. If you can get an overland show into urban centers and get people of all walks to come through the door or even drive by and go, man, that's cool. I want to see what that's all about.
Yeah.
That's what we need. And I think it's a great move to Kelowna. And we're a little bit out of Kelowna heading east on the 31, I believe. There's an event center, and that's where this show is going to be this year or this coming year. It's not right in Kelowna proper, which would have been even cooler if we could have had some place that was right in the heart of Ondosi or something like that. We rent a farmer's field there and you're right in town and there's 20,000 cars driving by every day seeing this whole show set up. And that drives traffic in and of itself.
Yep.
It's me blue skying and thinking, how do we get people to these shows? But I think that's something that should be looked at. So we'll see how it goes this year.
Yep.
It's definitely better in Kelowna. There's a big customer base of ours there. We have a lot of customers there. We have a lot of outdoor oriented people, and the rooftop tent is a great solution for most of them.
I'm really looking forward to the new location for sure. And I think there's going to be a number of people return that have not gone for the last year or so because of this new location.
Yeah, I think we would be in that category. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. I have to say, one of the event we did in Vernon, we did at Vernon Toyota. Some of the Vernon people organized it, and they had a little overlander get together. And there's people pulling in as they're driving by. They see, hey, what's going on, and pulling in. So you're right. The visibility is a huge.
It's all about visibility, and I think there's so much opportunity for this kind of guerrilla marketing to align with some of the dealerships and to do these little mini overland pop-ups. Maybe you can call it pop-up. And you just do these little shows and you end up talking to a lot of people that are all of a sudden really interested and have, again, back to the beginning of our conversation, maybe never even seen a rooftop tent or an adventure trailer. They had no idea this stuff even exists. A diesel here in a box? What's that? Those are the people we need to get to and drive that interest. And yeah, I've been a part of a lot of smaller events and smaller shows like that. And they've been very good for educating the public on the great things that we have to offer in this whole new world of overlanding. So I think some of those small venues are really worth doing.
Yeah, definitely. So if rooftop tents has exploded over the last 5 years or 10 years, whatever it is, the hot thing right now is diesel heaters. What do you think is going to be next on the list?
I think Treeline, we're definitely dedicated to putting out products that help you get away from everybody else. That's what we do.
Yeah.
I think I'm really excited about this new sleep-in trailer. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I think that'll get even more people out doing what we love to do, because there's a lot of people, a lot of families, a lot of women that just don't want to climb a ladder. Like, this opens up a huge opportunity for anybody that has mobility issues, things of that nature, or maybe they're freaked out of raccoons or bears or whatever. And maybe this is something that they feel comfortable in camping with, something hard-sided.
Or old guys like you and me that have to get up two times a night.
I'm not there yet, but
I am.
At
least once anyways. So
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, serious advantages to that. So I think this really off-road capable adventure trailer is going to be a very popular solution for a lot of people. And so there's a lot of people that this product appeals to, everything from sledders that, need a place to stay in the bush, or, everybody in between. And it's going to be an awesome trailer. And it will be unveiled at the Calgary RV show and at the end of January. So if anybody wants, give me a shout.
Once again, we're talking to Luke from Treeline Outdoors, handle rooftop tents, as you heard, trailers, their new diesel heater, etc. You can check them out, treelineoutdoors.com, and Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. You guys post some wonderful photos on your Instagram account that your customers have sent to you. Phil from Crave Automotive is one of those guys, incredible photographer. And we did an episode with Phil back in January, February, and he couldn't say enough good things about Treeline, but definitely.
And we can't say enough good things about Bill and the crew over at Crave. I've known the Crave guys since the day they started, and we've been very good friends since the beginning of Crave. And that was shortly after I started with Treeline Outdoors. Yeah, I've been there from the beginning with those guys, and Bill and the crew at Crave are some of the most passionate people when it comes to trucks, off-road, accessories, everything and anything overlanding related is right up their alley. And they have such a next level customer service. And that is exactly what Treeline has always strived to be able to meet, is next level customer service, where people are truly impressed with our customer service. Same thing with Crave. I've had work done there, purchased different tires or whatever else, and had stuff done. And it's just incredible. The level of communication, the professional workmanship, the awesome people that work at Crave. And Bill is one of our ambassadors as well. So any of this new stuff that comes out, Bill is one of our test pilots. So he will go out and try to destroy it.
And he tries hard. But and his photography is absolutely incredible. So that definitely helps you guys out as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No, his photography is beautiful and very pretty. So yeah.
He definitely will abuse any product that he's got. He will try and do what he can to find a fault in it and go from there. Another one of your guys' dealers that has a very good reputation is in Ontario, Red Bear Outdoors.
Yeah.
We've talked with Mike a few times on the podcast, and him and his crew are another group of people that really use their products, right? So they can recommend a product based on their personal experiences with it. Ask him, the people like Crave, they're all four-wheelers or overlanders. Yeah. Same with the guys at Red Bear Outdoor. And he was another one that they mentioned that you guys about your great product and that.
Yeah, no, Mike's a great guy. And I was at last year's Toronto Sportsman Show, and I flew out and supported and hung out with the boys at the booth. And yeah, we had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
For our Ontario listeners, there's another option for you in regards to picking it up from Red Bear. And they are great. Another overland shop that has everything. And now I think Red Bear, I don't know if they do it with your product, but I believe they also do rentals. He did tell me that anything that they sell, they'll rent.
I believe they do. Yeah.
So that's another thing too. If you're not sure if a rooftop tent is right for you.
Guys, so we've got a few people that do the rentals. I'd say Modular Racks is another one. They do rentals.
Okay.
And they're also a Treeline dealer. And then in Kelowna, Overtop Racks is a dealer of ours. I don't think they do rentals, but you can certainly go there and buy any of our Treeline product from Overtop Racks in Kelowna.
That's good to hear, because not everybody can go to Calgary or to pick it up, right? You guys do ship out as well too, right?
We can ship to you anywhere in Canada. And we also have a fulfillment center in the United States. So we can fulfill orders in stateside as well. So if any of the US listeners are on the podcast, we can certainly ship our great product to you in the US as well.
That's great. Awesome, Luke. I really appreciate it. Once again, Luke from Treeline Outdoors. Check him out, treelineoutdoors.com on Facebook, Instagram. You guys got to check out their Instagram. They post lots of great photos. They're sent in from their users. And also go to the website, sign up for that newsletter. Like I say, it's one of the very few newsletters I actually enjoy getting every month, because it's got that story. Quite often I'll go and check out those people on Instagram that are in their stories and start following them because of what they're doing with their travels and stuff like that. You can learn more about the product, but the stories is what really makes it for me. Definitely go to the website at treelineoutdoors.com and sign up for the newsletter. Thanks for coming on tonight, Luke.
I look forward to seeing you this summer at the Kelowna, BC Overland Rally.
I look forward to it too. I do have a brother living in Calgary. Next time I'm over there, I'll swing by and see Villa Crave and pop over and see you guys as well too. So
my absolute pleasure. Have a lovely evening, and I appreciate you, brother, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Luke.